ones, then the tens. To this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Oh, dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. Often mirrors appear quick, running from ear to ear. Craving the radiant rain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know I've heard this. In paradise, in paradise. We know what our word is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you can see.
Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and happy Monday to all the people out there, the other sports fans who are like me, who are excited about this weekend. You know, everything's getting ready. It's October, the best month of the year. A, my birthday. B, NBA starts. C, hockey starts. D, pro football is one quarter in. I mean, the second quarter part of football is in. College football is the same thing. So we're getting ready to see who are really legit and who are fakers. That's basically what we're seeing. Plus, the WNBA is ending their season, Major League Baseball as well. So excited about what we got going on. Excited about sports. And then this weekend, it's so funny is that OU didn't play and they dropped in the rankings. I mean, how does somebody go ahead of you and you're ahead of them and you didn't play, but they jumped ahead of you? It's the AP poll is just crazy on how it does and how things work. But we got a chance to see the Thunder play again for the second game, and or the third game, I guess it is. And here is my analysis of the Thunder. I'm very, very worried about 12 through 18, or 13 through 18. I'm very worried about that group. 1 through 7 or 8, I'm fine, completely okay with that. 8 to around 11, 12, I'm concerned. I'm not as concerned. I'm excited to see what's really going to transpire between that group, okay? So when you watch what happened, the Thunder and the Hornets. Now, of course, we started this game with Jay Will, Michik, Wiggins, glad to see Wiggins, Kaysen, and Jang. And the one thing I've noticed about the Thunder, they're giving Jang as many looks as possible. I mean, he is playing tons of minutes, and I understand they've got to play him as many minutes because he's still raw. He goes to me, he shoots the three fine, but when he tries to go to the basket and he slows down, he's just really awkward with it. And it's going to take him some time. Because remember, he's only, 20? I think he's barely 20 years old now. And so he's got some growing to do. He's still soft. He cannot defend on the wing. He's still soft inside. So that worries me a little bit. Jay Will really looked good. Michik, I'm liking more and more him every time I see him. And, of course, Wiggins played well simply because we were in his home state. Kaysen is still trying to figure out where he belongs, I think, where he fits in because, he is a rookie and he is coming into a team that's already got dominant stars, SGA, Josh, J-Dub, and, of course, Dort, and then you've got Isaiah Joe, and then, of course, here you come with Chet. So I think he's just trying to figure out where he belongs in there, but right now Michik is way ahead of him, and simply because one is 19 years old or 20 years old and one is 29. So it makes a huge difference. So when you look at the first half and the second half, the Hornets pretty much controlled the game, the whole game. I mean, it's just, but we didn't play anybody. We played our backups, and they were playing their starters. So what does that say about them is that they were playing their starters against our backups. And really it was, I'd say 5 through 8, 15 is what pretty much played the whole game, 5 through 15, because Chet didn't play, J-Dub didn't play, Josh didn't play, SGA didn't play. So that's kind of what I took from this game. Hornets were halftime had the lead 67-61. Ended up winning 117-115, and the game wasn't as close as it as it turned out. What I see is that in the first game, the Detroit Pistons 10 through 15 are better than ours, or 11 through 18, 12 through 18, whatever it is. They're way better than ours. Uh, and that's what I see is that Charlotte's group, that our group is better than their group because they were killing us all game, and I stopped watching and I turned back on, and then I see where Lindy Waters had a bunch of points, and Trey Man had a bunch of points, and so I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, all right, whatever, it's still, but to me, it's still when I look at it and I saw what it was, I still to me was really. Uh, Not necessarily concerned, but I'm like, okay, Trey Man, to me, I feel sorry for Trey because Trey uh, had an opportunity to really do something with this team, and last year he really got on the bad side of coaches, and even me, I was just like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you shooting so much? Why are you trying to take over? And I think that in his mind, he thought he could step up and really play well and really take up a scoring role on this team. And that's not what the Thunder had in mind for the team nor for him. So um, that's kind of what I took from that. But that being said, the second and fourth quarter, we were only down by two after the first quarter, 27-29. And then, of course, we started Trey Man, Keontae, JRE, Bertans, and White. And Jack White did something okay, but at the end of the game, we were down two, and he took a step back three, instead of swinging the ball because he had to catch it, step back, then shoot instead of swinging the ball to the wide open man on the wing for three. But of course he's trying to make a point, trying to make a mark, and I get that. But come on, man, I don't. You gotta do better than that. So anyway, when you look at the stats, the Hornets were 8 for 22 for the first half from three, ended up being 12 for 38, which basically meant they were 4 for 16 the second half, and a lot of that was the reason why we got a chance to come back on them. Then you look at us, 6 for 20 the first half, 13 for 41, so we were 7 for 21 for the second half, and then field goal percentage, we went up. They went from 57 to 52. You cannot give up 50% field goal shooting and expect to win a game. And you can see where Pip's points in the paint, they killed us, and a lot of that is because SJ wasn't in the game, Josh wasn't in the game, and we weren't getting easy layups, people taking them off the dribble. And then, of course, uh, 15 turnovers, and what have I said many, 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 many times? We're not going to beat anybody turning the ball over that many. We have to have between 11 to 13, 14 max. But 15 turnovers, you're not going to win, especially tells you they didn't play the defense because we only had 12 turnovers. That tells you right there that the group that you had in there, they cannot defend for the most part. Bench scoring, we just killed them at bench scoring. Yes, you can see 60 to 32. We were up 22 after the first half, and then ended up being 28. So I was scoring them by 6 in the second half. And so anyway, when I look at this, here are the things that I get from this, okay? And I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it because I think it needs to be said. But when you look at our roster, okay, and just watching Wiggins play, he can shoot the three, but the main thing is he can defend. He still is now, he's gotten better. I kind of was worried at the first half, first part of the game, missing layups, and then he finished at the rim because last year that was his biggest issue. Him finishing at the rim, Isaiah Joe finishing at the rim. Now, shot selection and all that, they could knock down threes, but let's face it, Isaiah Joe is going to have a lot more work cut out for him because people are not going to let him stay on his spot. The spot being the three-point line. Okay, they're going to run him off of that, force him to go to the basket. So, hopefully, he worked on that all summer with his teardrops, floaters, reverses, and things like that on how to finish with either hand to the basket. Because if he does that, he's just going to be deadly. So anyway, when I looked at that, I was kind of going, okay, our team. Excuse me. Our team's going to be okay. Now, getting a good look at really 5, 6 through 18, like I said, I'm a little concerned more than I was, and so I'm going to have to rethink projection of wins for the Thunder, and we're going to go back over there right before the season. I'm going to do my projections because I gave one already, and I had 49 to 54. And over and under is 44.5, by the way. And this is what I see. I see SGA Josh, J-Dub, and Chet, Dort, Isaiah Joe, Wiggins. Michik is definitely going to play. Kaysen, I think, is kind of now towards the end of on that outside, along with Trey. And then after that, you've got to decide what I want. I got Jay Will coming in there, and then to me, my other big man, from what I've seen thus far, is Davis Bertans, because your option is to go small and play Kendricks Williams, which kills you. Because you're not, if they have a big man on the floor at all, offensive rebound is going to kill us at key spots. So Davis Bertans is the man. Plus, Davis Bertans can step out, stretch the floor, and knock down the three way more consistently than K. Will can. So Kendrick Williams. So, I mean, the Thunder have some options. If you go little, you put Kendrick Williams in there. But to me, I've got Chet, I've got Jay Will, and I've got Davis Bertans. I mean, to me, K. Will is not really something that I don't really need. But that being said, you're going to have some grouping in there. And your second group, as I said, is going to be the second quarter and the fourth quarter starts, because those were our Achilles heels last year, especially the fourth quarter. We'd come in and we'd fight back because we were led the NBA in third quarter point differential as far as how many points we score, how many we give up. And then we got killed in the fourth, and we were, 20-something, 24th or whatever it was. So those are the things that we're going to have to pick up. But when you looked at the stats and you saw how they did not have turnovers, that's the one thing that I've harped on, is that we have to play better perimeter defense. I've said that over and over and over and over and over. Now, with our main group, we do play a lot better. But the question is, when you go 8 through 12, what's going to happen at that point? Or 8 through or 9 through 13, what are you going to have? Because remember, your three two-way players are Lindy Waters, or Sar and Keontae Johnson. Those are your three. And Keontae should be playing without question. The other two, no. But like I've argued with Nathan Taylor of YNB about this many times, they're going to play Lindy Waters. And he can't defend, and when he's with the main group, when he's with his other group, he played good yesterday. When the talent is equal to him, he does really well. That's why he does well in the G League. But when the talent is better than him, he is not nowhere to be found. But I do believe, like I said, they're going to play him. And he is going to cost us games. Because if Mark Dagnott, which everybody loves, I'm not that big of a fan of, Randy isn't either, we're going to find out what kind of coach he is. I believe he's a very, very great coach as far as building players up. But the question is, once you get them there, then what? How do you take them over the hill, over that hump, to get them to the next level? Is he capable of that? We will find out this year. And this is my thing, and I've said this before. You lost KD because you made bad decisions picking Russell over him. Now you've got SGA, you've got another top 5 player. The question is, what are you going to do with him? Because remember, you only have him for 3 more years, and then you've got to make strides in the next 2 years to convince him to stay. Now, $400 million, which is probably what his contract will be, is a lot of money to turn down. But if he goes somewhere else, he's looking at 380 something or 375. And at $400 million, what's the difference between $20 and $30 million? Is that going to make a difference in your life? Probably not. So he's going to want to go toward where he's going to win, because he's going to be, 27 or 8 at that point? So he's going to be kind of on that middle to down slide of his career. So that being said, what are the Thunder going to do? You have to make decisions now with coaching and player personnel in order to make sure you put this young man in a position to succeed, especially since we're building a brand new arena and you hope to keep that rolling. So my thing is this, you have to make a concerted effort. If this guy is not the guy, you better get you somebody else in there who can coach. And I'm not sure if he's the guy. Randy Wright from YNB for sure doesn't think he's the guy. But like I said, we will know what's going to happen by the middle of the year. By Christmas, you're going to know what kind of team you got. You know what kind of player Chet is. You don't know where you are as a team overall. Just kind of like last year, you can see the progression and how we got better and better and better. So you're going to see the same thing this year. Now, at 44 and a half, we had 40 wins last year, which I predicted. Only person, by the way, who did that. And my thing is this: he cost us 7 games last year. The coach did because we were trying to lose. So now my question to this year is, how many games is he going to cost us, or is he going to help us win because of his coaching? Because there's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 games this year that are going to come down to his decision making on substitutions and who he's playing and who he starts. Okay? So his substitution patterns, who's starting the second and fourth quarter, and I'm a firm believer, whoever starts the game should start the third quarter. Keep your rotation. Don't come in there because some guy got hot at the end of the second quarter thinking he's going to be hot in the third quarter. No, keep your rotations the same. And every time he does that, the Thunder's successful. Every time he tries to change that and be smarter than what he is, he screws up. So here's the question. Is he going to help us win 5 to 6 games and get us to 47, 48, 49 wins? Or is he going to cost us 5 or 6 games, which is going to put us at 46 or 45 or 44 and a half, 45? That's the $1 million question. Are those wins going to be for us or against us? That's the question. For us or against us? And it's going to be on him. But I can promise you there's going to be 5 or 6 games that he is going to have to coach us to a victory. They're going to come down to it. Matchups, kind of like Milwaukee. You don't put a 6'5 guy, 6'4 guy on a 7-footer with point whatever seconds to go, and the only thing they can do is throw a lob at the rim. And you don't see that, you don't make that adjustment. So we're going to see what's going to happen and what he's going to do. Now, I believe that the Thunder can come through. I believe that the Thunder are, deep down in my heart, I believe that we're a 50-win season, 50-win team. And remember, my playoff predictions, I had the Thunder in 6th place. Okay? So I'm going to watch tomorrow night at the game, and then I'm really going to know. Because Thursday, we play the Pistons again, so I've already kind of seen what that is. But now Cade will probably be playing in Tulsa simply because he's from Oklahoma State, and they're a huge Stillwater base. So we shall see how that works. But I'm interested to see. These next 2 games will determine what I feel like we will start at next week when the season starts on Wednesday, I believe, is our first game on the road. So we're going to see where we're going to be. Okay, so like I said, I'm excited about this year, but I do have some hesitations and some worries simply because I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to be 5 wins for us or 5 wins against us? Because if Randy Wright is right, he said we're going to win 46 games and probably 49. If I'm right, he's going to get us those 45 games, and we're going to be at 49, and then possibly if Chet goes to the next level, we'll be at 54. So, because 54 is my high mark. Kind of like 40 was my high mark. If they played like I thought they should play, they'd win 40. So 54 is my high mark for this year if they can play everything that I think that they can play. So we shall see how they turn out, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And I do believe that we have every opportunity to do that, and I believe that we will because I believe in our team, but I'm just not as confident in the coach. But like I said, we shall see. And the rest of the NBA yesterday, the Grizzlies handled the Heat yesterday, and I watched that game. I tell you, the Grizzlies, I'm not that impressed. The Heat, I tend to like their group of players more, but it's weird that how certain teams are playing certain players and certain players don't. And like Milwaukee and the Lakers, I watched that game and watched how I was going back and forth between the NFL and that. And I watched the Bucks, and I tell you what, Dame and Giannis, that's going to be a tough thing to deal with. It really, really is, because Dame just had 14, but you could just tell he's just trying to fill himself out. Where do I fit in on the team? When can I score? What does everybody like to do? And when you're a very good player, what you do is you watch your other teammates and see where they like the ball. You watch tape, and then you're playing with them. It's like, okay, he likes it here. He likes it here. This is what he does in this situation. Here's opportunity for me to score. So that's what he's looking at. Nuggets and Bulls. The Nuggets, I mean, they're formidable, and I think they're going to be right there in it again this year. The Bulls, they to me, they're struggling, and then of course Golden State and the Kings. Golden State won, and I watched that game, and that was a really, really, really good game. Uh, that was a really, really good game, and uh, of course the starters weren't playing on either one, so De'Aaron Fox and he wasn't playing. But I tell you what, watching the backups for both of them go, uh, boy, it's gonna be those two are going to be in it. Those two are going to be in it. And here, I'm going to go back and give my NBA playoff predictions so you can kind of see what I said. And I do believe the Suns, they're going to be right there. The Nuggets for sure are going to be there. I do like the Kings. The Lakers, I tell you what, their 8 through 10 is better. And D'Angelo is playing really well. But of course, this is preseason. I'm about D'Angelo Russell. It is preseason. But Golden State, I mean, Kaminga and Moody, they're just athletic and they can go. Thunder, like I said, I'm still predicting them at 6, but I think we can move up because I think to be one of the top 6, you're going to have to be at 50 wins. That's just or high 40, 49 and over. I don't think you can be anything less than that. The Clippers, I just don't trust them simply because they just cannot stay healthy. The Pelicans, uh, you know, Zion is just a beast. He really, really is. But I still have some question marks about them. The Grizzlies, I think once Ja gets back, they're going to be on a roll simply because he's going to be back uh, trying to prove a point. And then the Mavs are my outside team. Well, like I said, I'm going to look at that again. And then the Eastern Conference, I've got the Bucks, the Celtics, the Cavs, Sixers, Heat, and the Knicks. I'm not so sure about the Knicks. I'm really not, but I'll revisit it. And then after looking at, I still like the Magic in there as a squeak in. The Nets, they're young and they are really, 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 really got some talent there. They made out like bandits getting rid of um, Durant and Kyrie, so they made out like bandits. So they're doing pretty good. And then the Hawks. Trey has them in there every year, so I'm gonna continue to put him in there and trust in Trey Young having them in there. And then the Pacers are my other team that's just really, really scary on what they can do as a group because I just think that they have tons of talent and it's going to be interesting. But like I said, the Thunder I've got them picked 6th right now, but depending on what the coach does, they're either going to be playing or they're going to be 4th or 5th. So, and to me, 4th or 5th doesn't really matter. The only difference is if you're a 4th place team, you have home games, but you will end up having to play the Suns, which we play well. The Nuggets we compete with even a little bit, but the Suns we do play matchup with them really well when it comes to playing, and the Nuggets we do too. And I think that with Jay Will now with an extra year under his belt, I think he'll be able to handle. Jokic better, and then of course Bertans knows how to play him too. And Chet is too thin and too small, and I think Jokic would just take complete advantage of him. That's just kind of how I look at it. But anyway, I'm excited about the game tomorrow to see uh, what the Thunder are going to be like tomorrow. I'm excited about it. So we'll see what's going to happen with them, and I think they'll be fine. That's just kind of the way I look at it. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors for keeping us up and going. Collaborative Logic, appreciate them for getting all my stream deck and all my things done. Making sure every time we have a problem with the show that they can come in and remote in. That's one of the things I love about them. They can remote in and fix whatever problems you can have 90% of the time. And then I also have to take my stuff in there for some of the stuff that they have to do actually when they actually have to physically have the equipment in front of them. If you have any needs for software to make your office run easier. If you have networks already, you need a new network. People who can come in and fix your network or to maintain it. Also, if you have any needs for any website design, they can do all of those things, contact my guy Russell Willifort over at Collaborative Logic. SRB, if you have an engineering, surveying, or planning, Mark Long is the dude to talk to. They love, love, love to be behind the scenes doing their stuff there at SRB. Oak Grove Trucking and my boy Jose Fierro. If you have any needs for dirt or rocks to be moved, he is the man. Greg and Max Nafee. Excuse me. Greg and Max Nafee. Appreciate those guys for supporting me as they always do in everything that I try to work on. They are definitely supportive, so I appreciate them. YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They are an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. Proud sponsor for us to go out and support black women and minority business owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. And by the way, tomorrow is Tuesday, so you know we will be at Georgia's Happy Hog tomorrow. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or you can go in and see any of their main bank, locate their people at their main bank at 401 Elm, the downtown Yukon, YNB East, which is off the Parkway and 39th Expressway, or 66th, Highway 66, however you want to look at it. YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is off Garth Brooks, and I-40 is actually south of I-40 right there on Garth Brooks Boulevard, right in front of the hospital. YNB Peoples, which is the bank that I always go to, right there on 23rd between MacArthur and Rockwell, 6201 Northwest 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur. And then, of course, DT Construction and Consulting. If you have any needs for roofs or uh, you know, painting inside or out. Or if you need consultation, if you're thinking about remodeling your house, they can come in and give you some free quotes about what to do with that. Or if you have any driveways to be moved or landscaping, they do it all there at DT Construction and Consulting. Contact my guy Drew Henthorne at 405-209-4051. That's Drew Henthorne at 405-209-4051. DT Construction 2015 at Outlook.com. They're respectful, local, and loyal, which means Drew will answer his damn phone if you call, which not everybody does that. So, now in NBA news or NFL news, or excuse me, NFL scores yesterday, we had some good stuff going on yesterday. There was some really, really good games. We had some good things in college too, but we got to really see how teams are starting to stack up and how things are starting to, you know, iron themselves out. Who are the teams that are the pretenders and who are the teams that are contenders? The Ravens, man, they bounced back 24-16. Lamar looks really good in the pocket throwing the football. I if they should be 5-1. I mean, they don't have 30,000 drops last week. They win that game, and but I do like what I'm seeing from Lamar. Everybody beat up, but him still doing other things that he does with his legs, and the fact that he can actually sit in the pocket now. That's so impressive from my point of view on what he does. And that AFC North division is just insane between them, the Bengals, and the Steelers. That's just going to be a dogfight. I don't think anybody's going to come out of there with less than at least 5 losses or 6 losses between those three teams because it's just going to be, I mean, it's crazy. Um, Panthers and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are just doing what they're doing against teams that got down 14-0 and just came back and just shellacked the Panthers, I tell you what, I like what he's doing there. They just don't have enough talent. They really, really don't. You would have think they'd had more getting rid of Christian McCaffrey. They could have done more, but I look for this team to in the next year or two, once Bryce Young they can get somebody for him to throw the ball to, and then juice up his offensive line. I think they'll be fine. The Dolphins, however, are just a machine. But the question is, are they going to be able to do everything they're doing now when it comes time to actually they got to run the football, and that's in the end of November, and that's December and January. Can they win 2 playoff games? And right now it looks like they will be the number 1 seed because they've got to play the Chiefs. So we're going to see how that works out. And they got the Bills too again. They've got the Bills. They've got who they got? They have the Jets again. So we're going to see how that plays out because the Jets have been playing really, really well, which we'll talk about them later on. Saints and the Texans. C.J. Stroud, I mean, he may be the first Ohio State quarterback that can actually play in the NFL because the rest of them don't seem to be able to do anything. But what did D'Amico Ryans do? He went out and he stole one of Kyle Shanahan's from when he left. He was defensive coordinator last year, of course, at the 49ers. And he took one of the young offensive minds from Kyle Shanahan. The same thing Mike McDaniel did. He took one of the guys that was a young up and coming guy with him because that's the same thing he was. He was the offensive coordinator, so he got stolen to go to Miami. Took one of those guys, and what did D'Amico Ryan do? The same thing, because you can have a quarterback, but you got to have an offensive-minded guy who can scheme people open, who's young, who's got it going on. And so I think that he is the guy for that, and he's doing fantastic there. And I'm really proud of D'Amico Ryans and what they're doing there in Houston. The Commanders and the Falcons, uh, Desmond Ritter, he's just. Man, he had some bad throws last night. And, my thing is this: you got Tyler Henneke, and why aren't you playing anymore? Or Taylor Henneke, sorry. Why aren't you playing anymore? Uh, I mean, you're losing games you should be winning. And I've got the Falcons picked, to go to the playoffs. So I'm hoping that they step it up over there. That's what they need to. And the Colts and the Jaguars, I mean, ETN and Trevor Lawrence, yeah, yeah. I think that they found their stride, especially when they were over in London for 2 weeks. And I still believe that I really believe that the Jaguars are going to end up in London. I think the NFL has been toying with London, and Germany is the next spot to keep teams over there. And the Jaguars stayed over there for 2 straight weeks. And I think you probably brought their families over there and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Get your families over here. See how you like it over here. What do you think? And remember, their owner is foreign anyway, so why not? Why not have a team over there? And London's not a bad city, and who's not going to want to go over to London? The problem is for them to travel over here, they're going to have to play 2 weeks over in the United States, and then have teams come over there and stay with there because it's going to take them a while. But like I said, I think what did Buffalo fly in there on, like Thursday or something, and they played Saturday? No, I'm flying my team in on Tuesday or on Monday because Tuesday's your slow day. So, we come in Sunday, we have the game. Monday, we kind of go over film. Tuesday, we pack. Boom, we get on the plane. We fly overseas on Tuesday. We got Wednesday to kind of figure out where we're at. Thursday, we can go through some stuff. Friday, we go through the walkthrough. And that gives us 4 or 5 or 6 days for our bodies to adjust to the time difference. I think if you wait 3 or 4 days, there's no way, excuse me, that you're going to be ready. And that's clearly what happened. But I do believe, this is my guess, is that the Jaguars will end up there in London if the NFL pulls the trigger on that, which I think that they will, because Jacksonville is not really getting the support that they really need there in Jacksonville. Seahawks and the Bengals, what a game that was. The Bengals, here they come. They start out slow every year in September and October. Here they come. At 3-3 right now, but I'm still not really sold on them. But they do get a 2 week break. They get the bye week this week, so they'll be off for basically 2 weeks. So that'll give Joe Burrow time to heal. And I think that the Bengals will be back, but we'll see. They've got a daunting schedule ahead of them. Vikings and the Bears. God, I couldn't watch the game. I'm gonna be real honest with you. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it because I really didn't watch it. I just see with the Bears lost to the Vikings, which I thought Kirk Cousins better quarterback than Fields, and that the Vikings would take care of business. And I think the Bears need to overhaul the coach, get rid of him, and get them an offensive-minded guy like a Ben Johnson, or if our guy wants to leave Michigan, yeah, take him. But that guy's got to go. He just doesn't. It just doesn't work there. He doesn't have the right offensive coordinator. He's a defensive guy. His defense is bad. He got rid of all of his talent. I just don't get it. Niners, Browns. Uh, Ben and I had this discussion about Purdy, and I think Purdy's is a good quarterback on his way to be a very good quarterback. But he's just a good quarterback to me because of what he has around him. And you can see that up until the last drive, which he did the last drive because they got the slant pass that IU took and was able to maneuver his way through and got 20, 30 yards or whatever. So, yeah, he did okay, but I'm just not a fan of his. Now they missed the field goal and they came back, but I'm still not gonna, like I said, I don't do numbers. I don't care about stats. I'm looking at my eyes tell me everything I want to know. can you move? What do you do? How are your feet? Where do you see the ball? Are you seeing things? What are you looking at? That's how I don't go by stats to mean don't mean a whole lot of anything. Like I was arguing with somebody about Chet and Wembenyama and all this. I said, listen, if you're gonna go by stats, yeah, their stats look good. But what I saw was Wembenyama had 12, Chet had 6. Wembenyama goes out the game, Chet scores 8 points. That's what I saw. So at halftime, all you saw was 14-12. Oh, Chet's matching up. No, he got destroyed. But if you didn't watch it, you don't know that. You're just going by the stats. So stats to me don't mean nothing. What happened? What did my eyes tell me? That's what I always go about. Your eyes don't lie to you. Patriots, well, actually they do if it's in Magic because they try to, get you to go the other way. But the same Magic, this is football and basketball and baseball. Patriots and Raiders, Bill Belichick, I what was he, 200, well, I saw a stat, was he 219 and 64 or something like that with Tom Brady, or 74 or something like that with Tom Brady. And without him, he's 70 and something of whatever. It's insane, 70 and 74 or something like that without him. And it's to me it's like the old Jerry Jones Jimmy Johnson feud, because Jerry was, when they first started, people don't realize when Jerry was doing all the business part of it, Jimmy was doing all the stuff. Now, Jerry did make some contributions, but when it came down to it, Jimmy's like, okay, I'm coaching, I'm doing football, you're doing the management part. That's what we agreed to. But Jerry didn't allow that and wanted his ego got in the way, and the Cowboys have suffered ever since. And I think the Patriots, because of Bill Belichick's ego with Tom Brady, he wanted to win without him, and his way is the right way, and it just wasn't. And Brady goes on, of course, and wins another championship with Tampa Bay without him, which sealed his legacy, and pretty much to me sealed Bill's as well. One can win without one can't win without the other. Now let's face it, Brady's first 2 Super Bowls, those were Belichick. He was just a manager. That's all he was. He was just a manager. Now the rest of them after that, you can count him as far as what he did with Josh McDaniel as the OC. Yeah, I'm gonna give him all the credit he deserves for those, except for Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta, run the football, which Kyle Shanahan has learned his lesson, I'm sure. Then Seattle and Pete Carroll doing what Pete Carroll does. Remember in the Texas versus, was it 2005, 2006 Rose Bowl, when he was the coach at SC and he took Reggie Bush off the field, and everybody knew what was coming. And then the same thing, and they lost the game to Texas. And then here you are against Tom Brady and them, and you try to throw a pass so Russell Wilson can be the MVP. Hand the ball off, score from 1 yard, and then let's see how great Tom Brady is, because then he'd have to go the length of the field against the Legion of Boom. That is something that I would have really, really loved to see, but of course we didn't. Lions and Buccaneers. The Lions, I picked the Lions. I told Drew Henthorne of Husker Drew Picks. I told Ben Dillman, High Stick Harry, and I told Nathan Taylor of YNB, I said, you guys need to watch out for the Lions. They're like, that was last year. I'm saying, I'm telling you, the Lions are good. Now, they beat the Chiefs the first week, but let's face it, if the Chiefs receivers could catch the ball, the Chiefs defense only gave up 14 points. Kadarius Toney, the pick six, that basically won the game for them. So, I still like them, but, come on. You beat them, but you didn't. But a W is a W. Giants and the Bills. I saw this stat, and this is, guys, this is the craziest thing ever. When I saw this, I couldn't believe this stat, dude. It was the Giants, for the first time in history. I mean, this is crazy. They are the first team in Super Bowl era with more passing yards than their opponent, more rushing yards than their opponent, fewer fumbles lost than their opponent, fewer interceptions than their opponent, fewer field goals missed than their opponent, and lost. Before, it was 134 and 0. Before that, they're the only team. Think about that. 134 and 0. More passing yards than your opponent, more rushing yards than your opponent, fewer fumbles lost than your opponent, fewer interceptions than your opponent, fewer field goals missed than your opponent, and you lose. And you lose. Now, granted, your quarterback wasn't that great, but really, that's just the debacles on what they did, I think it was worse than Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy in the slide against San Francisco a couple years ago. Unbelievable. Then of course the Eagles and the Jets. What a game that was. The Eagles back and forth with the Jets. Their defense is phenomenal without DJ Reed and without Sauce Gardner, two cornerbacks. But at the same time, Philadelphia wasn't running the ball. Well, they couldn't. They forced them into being one dimensional. And if you're gonna have Hurts try to throw 44 times, you're not gonna beat people. That is not who Jalen Hurts is. And I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts, but that is not who Jalen Hurts is. And he's not going to be able to do that. So if that's what you're wanting him to do, you're in a world of hurt. It's just not happening. It is literally not going to happen if that's what you're trying to do. So my suggestion is you need to rethink that and come up with a different strategy because Jalen Hurts cannot do that. He's a great quarterback, or excuse me, he's a very good quarterback on his way to being possibly a great quarterback, but he's got a long, long, long way to go. And then of course the Chargers and the Cowboys are tonight. The Cowboys 7:15 game on ESPN. PM. What's ESPN? ESPN or ESPN Plus. Oh, public school kid. Chargers against the Chargers. The Chargers are plus 1.5 over under 51. So that's going to be a great game. Now, my question of the day, because we don't really have one all the time, but occasionally I do have a question of the day for everyone. And I don't think it's out of hand to ask this question, to be honest with you, because I think it's kind of in line with a lot of people of what they're already thinking without saying it. And by the way, you can you can hit us up on Skype if you need to. If you have a comment or something you want to say, you can Skype us at 405-551-8300. That's text 405-551-8300. If you have a question, go ahead and text that. Or if you have a comment about what I've said thus far, please go ahead and do that because I don't really get a chance to see it on Facebook. But if you have a question, text me 405-551-8300 and it will pop up. The question of the day is this, and I don't think it's out of whack at all, to be honest with you. If the Cowboys lose tonight against the Chargers, are they in danger of missing the playoffs and the end of the Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy era? And I was hoping my guy Drew Henthorn, Mr. Dallas Cowboy himself, was going to be here so that he could really give us his opinion on it. But if the Cowboys lose tonight against the Chargers, are they in danger? Are they in danger of missing the playoffs and the end of Dak and Mike McCarthy era? Now, this is my feel on that. I've thought about it quite a bit, and I think that they are in trouble. That's what I think, because I don't think that if the Cowboys lose tonight, that's going to be 3 losses. And if they have 3 losses, I don't know where they're going to be able to make up those from, because you'd have to go on a serious run, number one. Number two, the defense has not been the same since Diggs has gone out. And I just don't think Dak Prescott is the dude. And this is the problem. Dak Prescott, you're going to be on the hook next year unless you can trade him. And the thing is this, do you buy him out? Do you trade him? What do? Do you take the lump? Because Dak is not going to get you the playoffs. And now he's one-dimensional. He cannot move, so he's a pocket passer. And part of his ability to do things was the fact that he could move. Now he can't. He can't move. So the question is, what do you do with Dak? And to me, the answer is really simple. You don't pay Dak. You trade him with somebody. There are teams out there who will take Dak because he's better than a lot of those guys. Dak's probably 12th or 13th best quarterback in the league. So, you got him, you have some teams that want to take him. But for the Cowboys, if your ceiling is to go to the Super Bowl, he ain't going to get you there. And the Cowboys lose tonight against their former OC. What's going to happen then? Kellen Moore. Because remember, they got rid of Jason Garrett. and kept Dak. Then you get rid. Now you got Mike or you have Jason. Then you have uh oh my God, I just Kellen Moore. You got rid of him. Now you got Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy doesn't even throw down the field. You got Brandon Cooks, who's a speedster. You don't even throw deep to him. You got an offensive line for protection, but I just don't think they trust Dak. I really don't. I just don't think they trust him. So if you don't trust Dak and you don't believe that he is able to get you to the next level, then how are you going to pay him more money than Mahomes? Because I promise you, he's going to want more money than Patrick Mahomes. And that's the thing I don't understand is when all this came down, when Mahomes signed that big contract, everybody forgets he was $10 million ahead as the close. He was at 45. Everybody else was at 35. And somehow or another they jumped him. Well, Josh Allen was second. Josh Allen didn't jump him. But all these other guys jumped him one after another. I'm like, how the hell are you paying these guys more than Mahomes? They haven't done anything yet. And so now you're stuck with this 50-something million dollar payroll that you got to pay these quarterbacks. And hell, they're not worth it. I mean, other than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, yeah, he hasn't beat him, but yeah, he gonna make more than him. I just don't understand it. These guys, these general managers, and I understand it's the whole thing, the whole, everybody, the next guy up, next guy up. I get that, but hell, if you ain't over, how are you making more money than a guy who's better than you, who has two MVPs, two Super Bowls? Who's won 80 games out of his first 100 faster than anybody else in history. When you look at his trajectory, everything he's done up to this point is faster than anybody else in history. Yards, touchdowns, everything in front of everybody. But yet, how do you pay these guys more than him? I mean, to me, I'm like a GM, like, listen, I'm not paying you more than him because you haven't done more than he does. Now, I'll pay you somewhere over here, but I'm not paying you in front of him. I'm not paying you in front of him. I'm not paying you in front of him. You don't deserve it. But the way it's going to stand is next man up is who? Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going to get what? More money than Mahomes. Now, Trevor is really good, but do you pay him more money? I just don't see it. I really don't. But that being said, if the Cowboys lose tonight, I think they're done. Because you look at their schedule and they look at what they have coming up. They still got to play the Eagles twice. You got to beat the Commanders. The Giants they should handle. You've got some games coming up in front of you that you're going to have to handle some business. If you lose tonight against your former OC, what does that say about your coaching staff, and what does that say? To me, Mike McCarthy, you're done. Dak, you're done. And especially if they don't make the playoffs, I think both of them are done. I think Dak is done. I think McCarthy's done. But I think Dak should be done no matter what. McCarthy should be done. But when you look at, I saw a stat, saw a thing the other day of Jerry Jones' coaches since he hired Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. So Coach Switzer was the last person to win the Super Bowl for him. And when you look at that, okay, look at who he said, Chan Gailey. The only one he hired that stayed for a minute was Parcells, and Parcells left because he was all up in his business. That's why John Payton is at Denver, not in Dallas. Because of the simple fact that Jerry wants to run everything. And as long as he's there, Dallas is not going to win. So I think he needs to step out of it. Look, and I know he's got a point to prove. And he's proved that he can't do it. That's the point that he has proven. So I think if Dallas loses tonight, their likelihood of the making it to the playoffs is 40%. Could be wrong, but I think it's about 40%. That being said, in Big 12 weekend this weekend, what scores it was, you had the West Virginia and Houston, what a game that was. Still can't believe West Virginia, how they lost that game. Wow. We talked about that on Friday, how they lost that game. I still can't believe they lost. Kansas, Oklahoma State, once again, just don't understand that team. You think that the games they're supposed to lose, they win. The games they're supposed to win, they lose. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand the team at all. Some of the calls they make, but once again, it's football, not basketball. So I really can't comment on it because it's not my sport. So I'm just gonna let it go. Iowa State 30-10 over Cincinnati. What a game that was for Iowa State. They're slowly starting to get there. You look at this team and you think, man, Is this team going to be able to win some games? What is this team? Who is this team about, and what are they about? And what you do is you just watch and you see that Iowa State just handles their business. They handle their business over and over and over. It's what they do. They handle their business, and so you got to appreciate Iowa State and appreciate what Iowa State's doing and how they're just overcoming things and getting stuff done. I appreciate them as a team and as a group and their coaching staff. Man, they're well coached. Um, BYU and TCU 44-11. TCU actually won a game, which we're all shocked at. None of us believed that that was going to happen. I mean, you can't say you believe the way that they've been playing. You can't say that you really believed in everything that they were doing, that they were going to win a game. I mean, you did not really believe that. I didn't believe that they've been underachieving all year. They should have been a lot better than what they were, and but they just have constantly underachieved this whole year. I was very shocked at them and what they were doing. It really was. Kansas State 38, Texas Tech 21. Good win for Kansas State. We had talked about this on Friday. Texas Tech is one of those things. You don't know which team you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get from Texas Tech from week in and week out. And they really stepped up and played really well and handled their business. So that being said, the Big 12 standings look like this. Number 6, OU, 3-0, 6-0. Of course, they were off. Texas or Iowa State's now 3-1. Only loss coming to the Sooners handily, by the way, in Norman. 4-3 now overall. Texas, number 8, 2-1, 5-1. Only loss coming to OU there in the Red River rivalry. And by the way, what a damn game that was. Man, what a game. Still one of the best games I've ever seen, too. Oklahoma State 2-1 now, 4-2. They're slowly creeping up. You know, people have left them for dead, but they are on their way back up. Kansas State 2-1, 4-2. West Virginia 2-1, 4-2. That's the team that Drew had talked about. Drew Henthorne talked about all year. About man, before the beginning of West Virginia, we all thought he was crazy. Boy, was he right on the money thus far this year? Kansas 2-2, 5-2 overall. Without Jalen Daniels, they're not the same team. TCU 2-2, 4-3. They're slowly just creeping right in there, staying in there. Definitely underachieved for this year, but like I said, when I saw them last year and all the wins that they got last year that they probably should not have had. I really can't say how great they were. I just wasn't really sold on them, to be honest with you. And Texas Tech, they're just, they're Tech. You never know. They're a hard team to win, especially there in Lubbock. But Kansas State got a chance to go in there and handle their business with them. BYU, welcome to the Big 12, 1-2, 4-2. Only 2 losses have been. They were 3-0 coming into it. Only losses coming during the season. Houston, welcome to the Big 12 for you guys as well. 1-2, 2-4. Excuse me, 3-3. That team, I think under Coach Hogerson, I thought they were going to be better than they were. I'm disappointed in what they've achieved up to this point. Baylor 1-2, 2-4. Definitely, I believe they've underachieved. I figured compared to what I thought they would be. UCF, welcome, and Cincinnati, both welcome to the Big 12. Both 0-3 and not been able to get anything done. And I looked at that. So now in college football, Stanford coming back after 29-0, losing at halftime. And when I heard this, that Shedeur Sanders was promoting some deal at halftime, I'm like, how the hell do you have your cell phone? Why would you even grab your cell phone? It's 29-0 and you're looking at your cell phone. What are you doing? Why would you even be remotely trying to have your cell phone out? Why? I mean, it's a halftime of a game. And that just goes to show you that where he's at mentally, and he's going to have to get back in the film room. He's going to have to do some things because, dude, in order to have all the things that you want, you got to put down this social media stuff. I mean, it's granted that I understand what Deion's did and he's trying to promote and he's doing all this, but clearly your USC and CU have the most, they're the 2 most penalized teams in the NCAA. And it's simply because of focus and transfer portal. These guys haven't played together, and there's a reason. You're going to have to refocus these guys because they're caught up in a bunch of nonsense. But 29-0, and you lose to come back and get beaten double overtime against Stanford. That just says your team wasn't ready. But pretty much from the Oregon game on, they've been a one-half team. They were non-existent against USC. Then the second half they came up and they won that. But I mean, this is just you know, I think Coach Prime will get them right, and he's going to make some definite rules about their phones and what they can and cannot do because that is a bad eye for Shador. It's a bad eye for Colorado football and Deion Sanders, and that's just not who he is. Arkansas, Alabama. Once again, what a great game. We both, Drew Henthorne and I both thought that was going to be a great game. Alabama handled their business in the end at home 24-21. And they did not move up in the rankings, but I still think they're on the outside there. They're going to have to, the only way for them to get in the playoffs is for them to run the gauntlet and win the SEC, and they probably still won't get in there, even though their only loss at that point would be to Texas. That's if Texas runs the gamut, because I do believe Texas and OU will play each other again in the Big 12 finals, uh, uh, or excuse me, in the Big 12 championship with both of those going on. And it's fine with me if they do that because y'all are both gone, so get out. I'm okay with that. And I'm sure the OU fans are okay with it too. I don't think they mind either. Number 9, Oregon and Washington. Definitely one of the best games I've seen all year. And for the Oregon coach to do what he did, I didn't see the end of the game. I mean, after they won, I moved on. But for him to go for it on 4th and 1, that's some Staley stuff that the Chargers coach does. Because remember, the Chargers are 2 interceptions away from being 0 and 4 instead of 2 and 2. So you don't go for it on 4th down when the game tied, minute something to go on your own. What was their own 20-something yard line? Didn't make it. They kicked the field up, losing by 3, and then he apparently didn't shake the coach's hand, which I think that clearly he had. I don't really believe that report. Surely you got to go shake your hand, because if you don't, you're trash. You get beat by somebody, and whatever the officiating, that got zero to do with the coaching. You lost. Be a man and step up. But of course, what he did with Deion, it says a lot about who he is and who the Oregon program is under this guy. A&M 13-20. Houston. I mean, excuse me, Tennessee handled their business quite well over A&M at home. People love Tennessee. I've still always been a little skeptical of them. I thought they were going to have a step back after losing Hendon Hooker last year as a quarterback. I just didn't see them coming back and making a big run, and they are really struggling. But you know what? I think Josh Heupel's a great coach, and I think the best thing in him was leaving OU as offensive coordinator, and he's done quite well there at Tennessee. SC and Notre Dame, once again, SC is like CU. I mean, people are trash on Caleb Williams. I'm sorry, he's the best quarterback in college football. Stop it. Whether he was at OU or not, who cares? He left. And I saw these posts about, Lincoln Riley and him. Dude, why are y'all worried about somebody who's not there? He ain't got nothing to do with OU. That's been 2 years ago, and you're still harping on him. You're still harping on Caleb Williams. Really? You're the University of Oklahoma. You're the number 6 ranked team in the country, and you're worried about another football team. Why? Why don't you worry about what y'all are doing? Why don't you worry about what your team's up to? Why don't you focus on it? It's just like the people getting mad at Kevin Durant leaving. I don't blame Kevin Durant. I don't blame him why he left. And you shouldn't either. I mean, learn the facts, figure out stuff, and quit being such a little baby and realize, hey, I don't blame Lincoln Riley for leaving. For sure, Caleb didn't go to OU because of OU. He went there because of Lincoln Riley. And I get tired of people thinking these kids go to school for your school. They don't care about your school. They don't care about OU, OSU, Texas Tech, Notre Dame. They don't give a shit about none of that. They don't. Now, if you've been there and you've graduated, yes, then you're a fan. Then you're antiquated to the program. Yeah, then you're this. But until then, you're not. How many of these pros guys did you see? They say, what school are you from? They say they're high school. They don't even bring up the college. People don't care about the college unless you were an alumni and you went to school there and you paid tuition and you graduated. You care. You chose to go there because that's the school you wanted to go to. Those guys go there because of the coaches there, not because of the school. They don't give a shit about OU, OSU. They don't give a shit about the school. They give a shit about who the coach is. And when the coach leaves, they leave. So get over it. And I'm so tired of SC posts and Caleb Williams. I'm tired of it. Who cares? They're gone. When we lost Les Miles, you didn't see us posting about Les Miles. He left. Bye. Good luck. See ya. I mean, get over it. Who cares? They're not. You shouldn't be concerned about with somebody else. Be concerned about what you're doing at your school. Okay, guys, all you supposedly sports people, if you know what you're really talking about, why are you bringing that up? I don't bring up somebody who left. You gone. I don't care nothing about you. You ain't in my school no more. You ain't with me. You left. Bye. See ya. I don't care about you. You left. Bye. Bye bye. Go away. I don't care. That's what you wanted to do. But now, if it was something that you did, then yeah, maybe. But like Kevin Durant, I have no problem with what Kevin Durant did. I don't care that he left. I don't blame him. I would have left too. I have no issues with Kevin Durant. Zero. I'd have left too. Miami 31, UNC 41. Drake May, I like this kid. I think he's rebounded well. They got a new big kid that's coming his way, 6'4", 2, whatever. And I hope he gets some target. But, the guy saying he's better than Caleb, no, he's not better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is a phenomenal, and he had a bad game. And to me, I think that Colorado gave everybody kind of a blueprint to how to deal with Caleb if you can do that. But Utah doesn't seem to have a problem. They still beat Caleb no matter what. UCLA and Oregon State 36-24. Love what I saw right there. Man, oh man, what a great game. That was Oregon State. It's tough. Almost went to school there. So it's a tough place to play. Really, really is. Really, really tight. Really, really tough place to play. And like I said, I almost went up there to play basketball. So I know all about it. Here are your the AP top 25. You got nothing's changed except, like I said, with OU. How the hell are you five? You drop and you didn't play. I don't get that. Washington played, but they still should be sixth, not jump ahead of OU, and they didn't play. I just don't think that's right. Even though Washington did play well in beating Oregon at home, how do you jump OU? I don't understand that. You shouldn't jump OU because they didn't play. I mean, that just to me is ridiculous. But that's the AP. And then of course Penn State at 7, Texas at 8, Oregon lost, but yet they're at 9, which I agree with that 100%. UNC moved up to 10. I don't think USC, North Carolina is better than Alabama. I don't believe that at all. But then you got Oregon State, Ole Miss, and then you come all the way down. SC dropped all the way down to 18th, LSU 19th, Iowa 24th, and I'm not a big fan of Iowa. I don't even know how the hell they're there. I really don't believe. I mean, I'm like whatever, dude. But it is the AP top 20. These people, I don't get sports writers. But anyway, the Liberty took care of business. Now it's 2-1 over the Aces. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on Sling. So I guess I'll be watching it highlights on YouTube because I don't have Sling and not gonna go get Sling just so I can watch the WNBA. I'm not doing that. I know some people will, but that's just I'm not doing that. I don't even know what Sling is. I mean, there's so many programs and so many apps and all this stuff out there. Just get me on TV where I can watch something regular. That's all. I appreciate that. If you can give me ESPN or you can give me TNT or give me something I can act ESPN Plus or something where I could watch that game. And I can't believe that ESPN at least doesn't have them on there for us to watch something. So, and then I would be remiss if I did not throw in the Big 12 games. Big 12, Major League Baseball games when I was looking at it because Major League Baseball, the Rangers beat the Stros 1-0 to go up 1-0. Now my thing does not reflect that, so I don't need to really put it up there, but they did a great job. Love that game, and so we're going to see what's going to happen today. I believe the game's getting ready to come on right now. And then, of course, in hockey, my guy Ben Dillman is not on today, and the Lightning lost to the Senators 5-2. The Ducks took care of the Canes 6-3 yesterday. That's what happened on that. And I think that's all the stuff that I have for today. Oh, I take that back. I got Drew Henthorne's his picks for today. He's got the Stros coming back to take care of business and the money line at 122. The D-backs and the Phillies, he's taking the over 7.5, 105 on that. And then, of course, in the NFL, he's taking his beloved Cowboys -1, -120 is the payout on that. And then, of course, he is taking the over 50.5. I think he's being generous, but neither the Chargers defense is not very good, but the Cowboys is, so I don't really know how that's going to happen. But he is the predictor. He is the man. He is the guy that comes up with all the picks. So, and he's been on fire lately, doing fantastic. So, if you haven't followed him, go follow Husker Drew Picks, and he is the man. So, that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic Monday out there. Enjoy yourself, stay out of trouble, enjoy Monday Night Football, and remember, tomorrow Thunder night. Got to watch the Thunder play tomorrow at home, and remember, we won't be doing After the Storm until the first game, the 25th, which is next week. And guess what? We're going to be doing our podcast, and it will be a podcast at that point. So you'll be able to watch us live, or you can watch it on the podcast as well. That being said, hey, everybody have a fantastic